Greetings, I'm Nicola. I'm one of the founders of Sous and definitely the chief panettone taster. Over the last 10 years, I've been to Italy at least twice a year and tasted panettone from many, many different suppliers. At Sous, we have an unbelievable selection of only the finest panettone. So you're probably asking, how can you choose a great panettone? Ultimately, the only real way is taste. What do you look for when tasting one? For me, it's a few different things. One is when I unwrap it, I'll inhale the panettone from the packet and get the aroma. You should be able to smell incredible citrus fragrance straight away. Secondly, when you break it open, you'll see huge pieces of studded, beautiful fruit. None of the small dry fruit that we tend to see in the UK as candied peel. And then finally, when you tear it apart, it'll come apart in shreds, almost like a mozzarella ball tears, rather than a dry cake-like crumb. Of course, if you find that it tastes outstanding, the likelihood is it's also been made by artisanal techniques. So a sourdough starter, high butter percentage, incredible Italian ingredients. If you don't, however, have a trusted supplier and can't taste the panettone before buying it, at the minimum you'd look for two things. One, the country it's made in, that must be Italy, and two, the weight. It should feel heavy to hold, so full of great ingredients and still moist. But really, it's so hard unless you're tasting the panettone. So the next question is, what size do you buy? Classic panettone size is about 1 kilo. This is a 1 kilo tin. You can see it's extremely generous. This as well, possibly even 10, 15 people you'd get out of one panettone. This is another big 1 kilo one. And then these tins are 750. So as you're getting a little bit smaller, the boxes like this, 600 grams, 750 grams, those are also make a great gift. They feel very generous. As you're getting down to 500 grams, that's a lovely thing. It's a great introduction to the panettone. And then 100 grams is pretty much stocking for the size. That's teeny tiny. Let me tell you a little bit about panettone flavour. Well, the classic flavour is Milano panettone. That's raisins and candied citrus. That's what the majority of people in Italy will be eating. But there are lots of other beautiful flavours, from limoncello to pistachio and almond, marron glacé. They're all amazing. Often the different flavoured panettones are produced for other country consumers. Salt caramel panettone was produced for the Brits and now actually is popular elsewhere as well. So I'm going to take you through some of the different suppliers we have here. Muzzi is a great tasting panettone. This is in the fun animal print and a lovely gold ribbon. There's marron glacé. I think this is tiramisu. This might be the pistachio one. Loison, that's a very traditional family business. Every year I make with Dario Loison to taste the new flavours. This is their classic. They also have other tins, which are really beautiful. That's 750 gram tin in chocolate, in classic, in mandarin. And then they have these beautiful botanical illustrations. This one's a marron glacé, but there's lots of other fruit flavours. Some of my favourite packaging are these Flamigni boxes. They're another family business in northern Italy, and they have these very traditional designs, quite classic, beautiful fruit on the top. The bottom one is limoncello. This, I think, is probably apricot and chocolate. And this one actually is topped with a crunchy sugar topping, so that's called glasato. So sometimes you'll see that on the top of a panettone. This lovely grand pistachio with a big F and this super shiny gold writing, and that's with pistachio cream already piped into the panettone. And then finally, the panettone produces from Sicily. That's in southern Italy, and Sicily's famed for its citrus fruit. And so they make incredible citrus panettones, and it's still a family business where the 4 children have taken over their father's bakery. And they've also done a beautiful partnership with Dolce and Gabanna. So these are some of the incredible Dolce and Gabanna tins. I mentioned that's the almond. There's a new one this year, which is apple and cinnamon. And you can see this incredible apple and cinnamon design around the edge of the tin. The 1 kilo classic, which is the saffron and citrus, is this one, and that's the orange tin, and there's a blue and red tin as well, and they also do that in a 500 gram size. There are even some of these beautiful boxes, and that has the panettone paired together with an incredible spread. So that's with a pistachio spread, but a few of the other panettones, including this one, which is down here, have a big panettone along with some kind of cream. And last but not least is our own brand panettone. So this is a classic Milano panettone that we're proud to put our names to. The reason I love this one is the aroma is incredible. It's brilliantly tender. It really is spectacular. I visited the bakery last summer and I was thrilled to see, although they weren't producing panettone in the summer, you could see the sourdough yeast being cared for every single day and rising. It was behind a reinforced glass wall. It's so closely cared for because it's thought to be the lifeblood really and the heart of the panettone. And all of these panettone producers who use sourdough yeast will most probably, like our own label panettone, have a backup piece of the panettone kept in a bank vault, probably further away from the factory across town, to make sure that nothing really can happen to their panettone making tradition. So every single one of these panettone is fantastic, and I'd be delighted to receive any one of them as a gift. The next question, once you've chosen and opened your panettone, how do you serve it? So Martino Fiasconaro explained to me recently with great reverence as he was slicing on. Firstly, always serve at room temperature. That means the butter will be soft, it keeps it soft and tender, you'll get the best aromas. You should inhale it when you take it out of the packet, really to give you a lift. And then only ever use a serrated knife. You never ever want to squash the panettone while slicing using a straight knife. You carve very, very carefully. Finally, you might want to spread it with one of those incredible spreads. If I'm being a little bit decadent, I might drizzle over a little double cream. I'm often asked, what do you drink with a panettone? You wouldn't want to have that with wine or champagne. The cake is too sweet, it'll make the wine taste bitter. But an off-dry Prosecco or Spumante, any dessert wine, or perhaps a Pedro Jimenez sherry can be excellent, depending on the panettone flavour that you've chosen. And of course, a coffee, the classic, is truly superb. So that's our selection of luxury panettone. It feels ridiculous to be surrounded by so many incredible cakes from artisan producers. And it's a huge pleasure and something I never expected when I started Sous Chef. And it's been an eye-opening education for me to taste so many delicious things. To finish off, I'd usually say happy cooking, but in this case, very happy eating indeed.